Hello, this is Crypto CJ, and recently one of the people on my email list asked me to do a video about how I create my TradingView charts. And I've been using TradingView charts for over a year and a half. I hadn't really given much thought to how I may do it differently than other people. Most of what I've learned is from Crypto Trade Masters, iCoin Pro, some day trading platforms that I joined when I first started. But I've since moved on to, or not just day trading, I do some swing trading and some long-term holding and some things like that. So with that in mind, I will go ahead and share my screen and show you folks how I create my TradingView charts. And I'll start with something pretty basic. Okay, so here I am on a mostly blank Bitcoin chart. Anytime you create a new chart, all it will show you is the chart action for whatever time frame you were using last. This is where you store the various formats. If you first open this program, your first chart will be called unnamed. You can rename it with this figure here. And I went ahead and just called this a sample chart. And then once you create different charts for different reasons or different strategies, you can load whatever chart layout you want. I've got my very basic chart, and I've got my market cipher chart. That's a tool I use. And this 1 minute stochastic RSI is for a leverage trading strategy I'm working with. So those are the three I have. But I'm going to create a brand new one called sample chart to show you folks how to do it. It is retaining some of the information from my other charts. We'll get over to the coin listings a little bit later. The first thing we're going to do is figure out how to add Bollinger Bands. Some traders don't use them, most do. And a lot of what you'll do will be this function key here when you add various tools to your chart. So I'll click this. I already have Bollinger Bands stored, but you just type in Bollinger and it comes up. And just go with the very basics, unless your instructor is telling you otherwise. But click on Bollinger Bands, and they'll automatically, the default version will automatically show up, and it will list over here on the upper left. And you can hide it if you need to. You can make changes to it. You can find out the source code, and I'll show you why that's relevant in a moment. You can remove it, which would be kind of pointless now because I just added it. And then there's more options here too. So let's go to the settings. And the default length is 20. That's 20 time frames. I'm on the 5 minute chart now, so 20 candles of 5 is how that works. Actually, I prefer 50. This is how I was taught. So this is a little bit more conservative approach. And you can do some other things too with the settings, with the style. You can go with a thicker line. Maybe do that thickness there. This thickness on that one. And you're good to go. Your Bollinger Bands are done. You can also, so that's the second standard deviation. That's what most people use. You can make it a third. It makes it wider. Or if you make a mistake or you want to change something back, you can go to undo right here and take it back. So I'm with a standard deviation 2. Again, that's how I was instructed. I've since added a standard deviation 3 and a standard deviation 1, but we'll keep it simple for now. The next tool I like to use is the MACD, which is the moving average convergence divergence. And as you can see, that that indicator shows up right below the Bollinger Band. So this one's valuable. Generally, when this blue line crosses over the orange, that's a bullish sign. You know, when the orange crosses over the blue, it's a bearish sign. We use the MACD to determine entry points frequently. So, and then the other one I like to use is the RSI, or Relative Strength Index. And as you can see, there are various strategies here created by other TradingView members, and that has to do with the code I showed you earlier, the source code. So, but for now, we're just going to keep it basic with the RSI. Got the RSI here, MACD here, my Bollinger Bands here. If I want to move this up, I click this move pane up, and now the RSI is above the MACD, but below the Bollinger Band. If I want to maximize the Bollinger Bands, I can either click this, maximize pane, or just double click on it anywhere. And it maximizes that particular screen, double click, and it goes back. Same thing for RSI. Has the MACD crossed? Can't quite tell. No, it hasn't. So you can also change the color, the outlook. Some people, prefer the dark. You right click anywhere on here, color theme, go to dark, and now you're dark. So and then just click that undo to go back. And I do have other tools that I use, stochastic RSI, and I've got this strategy here, RSI divergence indicator with alerts. This is advanced stuff, but these are options that are also available to you. TradingView has a lot to offer. You can go down this rabbit hole and spend many, many hours seeing all the charting options that you have. I'm on the Pro Plus account. That's not the first paid, but the second paid option. That's sufficient for me. Some people go all the way up to the third paid options, about $600 a year, I think. Sometimes they have sales, but I'm okay with the 30 alerts and 10 tools and things like that on my chart. So that's the basic setup. And then over here, got the lists. I've got a few different lists depending on strategies. If you want to create a new list, you just click here, create new list, give it a name, click save. And now it's going to prompt you to add, tokens to that. So you click the plus sign here, you type in whatever symbol you want. BTC, USDT is one I trade a lot. The Binance, that's the exchange I use the most. You click this plus sign and it populates over on your list. Ethereum, same thing. Link. So exit out, and now you've got this list that you can look at anytime. And you may have noticed I've got these green symbols next to it. For me, those are tokens that I've done Fibonacci retracements on, and that's an advanced, enter and exit strategy based on retracements, just like it sounds, and science, calculus, things like that. I did a video about Fibonacci retracements, so if you want to check that out after you get comfortable with the basics, just search crypto CJ Fibonacci and you'll find it. So that's the list. That's my basic TradingView setup. You can also put various time frames up here that you use. So if you click this arrow here, this drop-down menu, and put a star next to the time frame you're interested in, it'll it'll add that up there. Or if you change your mind, you can unstar it, and now it's gone. So, and then finally, we've got the various tools over here, and I've got about a dozen that I use, mostly for charting, some for making these videos, but I'll just show you a couple of them. Here's a trend line. Once you put a star on it, it'll create a toolbar for you. And I turned mine off for now, but I'm going to turn it back on. This is my toolbar. So if I unstar this, the trend line goes away. If I restar it, it goes back at the end. You can also click and drag it where you want it. So let's say I want to draw a trend line on the 1 hour on Bitcoin. So I just go right here, drag it down, and I'm good to go. Now my current one is red. I can change it over here on the colors, make it purple. And the next time I use the trend line tool, it'll show up as purple. I'll have to change it back to red if I want to do that. Or I can click here and change it back. So that's one of the tools I use. Over here we have, let's not do that. You can use this for charting longs. So risk reward ratio, you can move that up, move it down, depending on where you want to enter and what you're looking for as a profit. So I've just started using this a little bit in some of my leverage trading. It's a handy tool. I just added it to my toolbar. So it goes both directions, both long and short. And then, it's got all kinds of Fibonacci retracement and the extension. I use these, so that's on my list. Here you can write things, use call outs, anchored text. These are two of my favorites. I label all my charts. Whenever I do Fibonacci retracements, I'll put some anchored text on there and say when I did it. Today's 6/16/2021 at, I use military time a lot, 14:18, I'm on, whatever chart I'm on, say the 1 hour chart. So I click OK, and then that will stay in this vicinity, as the chart goes on. So, and then finally, I've said finally a few times because I keep thinking things I want to tell you guys. You're going to want to try to anticipate profit sometimes. There's a couple of ways to do that. You can click this ruler, click where you want to go, and it's like, okay, that profit was, like 10% or something. This keeps getting in my way, 13%. Or you can click Shift on your keyboard and then drag up. It accomplishes the same thing. The Shift doesn't always work. So if you're trying to shift and scroll up and it doesn't work, then just go over here to the ruler. So, and if you don't want if you're sharing your screen, you don't want these to show up at the time you're sharing, you can click Hide All Drawings, show all drawings. There's other tools on here you can use. Whenever I look at software, I just start tinkering with it and trying to figure it out. So, all right. I haven't really used these down here much. Crypto Screener is one of my sorts. Just to find out what the hot coins are. TradingView treats it like another, indicator. So if you click this on, it'll show up under your current indicators. Then you can click it off. and it's gone. So, all right. Well, I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but that's basically how I set up my TradingView charts. If you have any questions, please email me at cryptocj13@gmail.com. Hope you found this video at least somewhat helpful. And that's all I have for now. Happy trading, and I'll see you on my Zooms on Mondays and Fridays. Talk to you then. Bye.